So you're heading to Philmont and trying to decide, should you bring something for your seating needs around camp? We're going to talk about that today. And you're watching Andy Parrish Outdoors. Well, hey everybody, Andy here, and thanks for joining me today. And we're talking about Philmont seating needs, and it's kind of funny to me because it's a topic that gets a lot of discussion on both sides. Should you bring a chair? Should you bring a seat pad? Should you bring a stool? Should you bring something to sit on or not? And I think there's been a debate for a long period of time of just what's the value of bringing it, of bringing something. Well, I think a lot of it's personal preference, and a lot of it goes back to the idea of, if it really isn't necessary, why bring it at all? And I'm going to approach this from the perspective of, what are the pros and what are the cons to bringing a seat at all? And then we'll go through some items. If you decided that you wanted to bring something to sit on, what are some great options to look at, from the ultra budget to some things that are a little bit more pricey, and everything in between, so that you have the best information as you put together your Philmont kit of what makes the most sense to bring along for you. So let's dive right into that. So first and foremost, let's get into the pros and cons of why you want to even bring one or not. Not the easiest thing is weight. Why bring something that you're only going to use maybe in and around camp? You're going to be doing a lot of program. You're going to be doing, quite a bit of hiking. Do you really want to add extra weight to your pack, which may be too heavy to begin with? Well, there's some pros that you want to think about that might alter your thinking just a little bit. So first and foremost, there's a comfort factor. When you're hiking Philmont, you're going to get to the end of the day and you're going to be tired. I don't care if you're 15 or 16 years old and in pretty good shape, or you're more like me, which, we're in our 40s and 50s and beyond. And, we're trying to keep up with the younger folks, trudging up these mountains. You're going to get to the end of the day and you're going to be sore and your feet are going to be tired, and you're going to want to take your shoes and socks off and let things air out. And it's just not nearly as comfortable or relaxing or rejuvenating to get into camp and go sit on a rock or sit on a, fallen tree. Sitting in a chair or sitting on a stool or even a Sitpad can provide comfort after a long, hard day. So that's the first and foremost thing. The second thing that I would talk about is the usability of a lot of the chairs and items on the market today that make them extremely convenient for even using them for, a 20-minute break on trail. When they call it 20 and you're dropping your pack and you're right there, in the middle of the trail, a lot of these seating options can be utilized really quickly, so that even in a short 20-minute break, you can get your chair out, your stool out, your sit pad, and enjoy the comforts of, sitting in something rather than, sitting on the dirt, sitting on a rock, sitting on a tree branch, something that has a little bit more padding, a little bit more comfort. And the third reason is, it can rain quite a bit at Philmont too. And sometimes you just don't want to sit down on the wet ground. So having an option that you can pull out that could be dry after, a big rain could be a useful factor as well. So let's go down the argument that you've decided to bring something after all to Philmont. What types of things should you look at, should be on your radar, from the lightest, most inexpensive to some things that might be a little bit heavier that you're really going to have to decide, does it make some sense? And some things that are a little more pricey, costly, that also you're going to have to weigh with your budget. Does it make sense? Let's dive into that now. Well, obviously, if you're bringing gear on a backpacking trip, you want it to be as light as possible. You want it to be as compact as possible. You don't want to be using a lot of space or bring heavier items that you're having to carry miles and miles and miles. So that's, really the first thing that you want to look at as you evaluate these different options. Cost is definitely going to be a factor. Usability, comfort, all those things have to go into your decision that you're going to make for what's best for you. And that may be completely different from the scout next to you, from the scoutmaster, from whoever's going. This has got to be a good fit for you and what you're bringing and what you're looking to get out of it. Okay, so with that being said, there's really, in my mind, 3 different categories of seat options for backpackers. Okay, and this works for all different kinds of backpacking as well as it does for Philmont. So the first option is what I call Sitpads. So let's look at a few of those so that you can get a good idea of just exactly what I'm talking about. So all of these items, I'm going to leave information down in the description box below, links where you can find them, get more information. All of them are going to be listed. So let's get into the first one. It's just your basic Sitpad. This is just a closed cell foam Sitpad. There's a few different vendors that sell these. They're about $5. They weigh only 1 ounce, and they're usually really good about not absorbing water. So great for backcountry environments. They're not the most comfortable. They're the thinnest, so you don't get quite as much cushion. But if you're using them to kneel on while you're getting into your pack, or you're just using them to provide a little bit of cushion and comfort sitting on a rock, a tree, they're going to provide a more comfortable experience than not bringing them. Now, the second one's a little nicer of that same version is the Thermarest Z Seat. Now, this one comes in at about $15. Still fairly compact. It's a little larger than the previous one, but that extra thickness provides a better experience. So they're more comfortable to sit on. They have better thermal ratings so that, sitting on the cold ground, you're not going to feel that temperature difference. So they're going to provide some insulation for you. They weigh about 2 ounces. So they're about double, but 2 ounces isn't a bad weight at all. So there's a lot of positives going for the Thermarest Z Seat. And then you have the third option of that Sitpad, which is a little nicer. Now, this is the Crazy Creek chair. It's providing a cushion not only on the bottom, but it's has a backing as well that you can kind of lean back against. Now, this one has some drawbacks compared to the other two when it comes to Sitpads. Yes, it provides a more comfortable experience with a backing, but they cost in the $50 range, so $55 to $60 range and up, depending on the model that you look at, and they can be quite heavy. The base chair I believe weighs 22 ounces, so a Thermarest Z Seat at 2 ounces, or even just your basic closed cell foam Sitpad at 1 ounce versus something that's 22 ounces, you're going to have to decide if that weight penalty makes sense for you and that cost difference makes sense for you. If really all you're looking at is something to sit on a rock or on the ground or on a down tree to make your seating experience a little bit more comfortable, only you are going to be able to decide that. So, with that being said, let's get into the second category, which is stools. Now, there's a few different stools that are out there on the market today. A lot of them are very, very similar. The one my son brought to Philmont a few years ago was the Alps mountaineering tri-leg stool. I've got a review of that. I'll leave a link to that. It's nice because it is fairly lightweight. It weighs 2 pounds, and it is extremely convenient. So he would have that in his water bottle holder as we're hiking along. If we stop to take a break and set the packs down, you could literally have the stool out and sitting down on it in 10 seconds. I mean, you literally take it out, open it up, and it's ready to go. And for scouts, that don't necessarily need the backing, something to lean back in like a chair, he loved it. He thought it was very convenient. A couple of the other, one other scout, one other dad, they brought a different model, but a stool as well, almost the identical design. So, they've got a pretty good weight rating. I believe it was 300 pounds. So they're very durable, they're very sturdy, and they can be quite comfortable, and they're just so super easy to use. So if you want to take it with you, even in and around camp, it's not heavy, it's not bulky, and they're so easy to set up. So a lot of people like that. They don't pack down quite as small. As you can see, they're a little bit longer, but it's easy to kind of strap one of these in your, water bottle holder on the side of your pack and lash it to the side. So this is a great option, and they're fairly inexpensive. This one, I believe, costs retail price is about $15. They run sales all the time. I think we picked ours up for $7, maybe a little less than that. So an inexpensive option that's, fits within the budget, not a huge weight penalty, very easy to use, and fairly comfortable as well. Well, the third category that you should probably look at is what I call the lightweight chair option. Lightweight chairs, you're going to stay probably in the 2 to 3 pound range max, probably as close to that 2 pound and under limit, if at all possible. Again, you don't want to be carrying any extra weight. So the first one I'll recommend is probably the biggest budget option on the list. And that is the Trekology Yizi Go. You can find these on Amazon. They run about $40 each, and they come in right at 2 pounds, 2.1, 2.0, the two different weights that I've seen for these chairs. I've used the previous version, which you see here. This one weighs a little bit more at 2.4. They've redesigned it a little bit to make it a little bit lighter, and still extremely sturdy. So that's an option that you should consider if you want a good budget lightweight chair. The next one is the REI Flexlite, and this is a pretty common chair, pretty popular chair because it's still a fairly reasonable price point. They typically retail for about $60, although you can find them cheaper periodically on sale, 20% off 3 or 4 times a year. You can find them at a very good price point. Now, these are right under 2 pounds, so they're 2 pounds 11 ounces is what they're listed at, and they have a 250 pound weight capacity. So any of us dads that are going on the trip, that are under that 250 limit, this is a great chair for you. $60, 1 pound 11 ounces, a good lightweight option for bringing a chair where now you've got that flexibility of, I can actually put my feet up, I can have a little bit of cradling in the chair, rest those sore muscles, a little bit more comfort than any of the other options, other categories that we've mentioned before. Now, if you're a bigger guy, and that 250 weight limit, might be an issue. Now, there are larger versions of these chairs available. So the REI Flexlite that I just mentioned before also has an REI Flexlite Camp Boss version. And I've got one here, which is the previous generation. It was called the Flexlite Macro. It has a 300 pound weight limit. It sells for retail price is $80, and it comes in at 2 pounds 14 ounces. So if you're a bigger guy and still looking for some comfort in camp, here's an option that has a higher weight capacity, that's under 3 pounds. It's a little bit heavier, so you're going to have to decide whether that's really worth it for you, but it just may be. And for 80 bucks, again, you can find these on sale periodically throughout the year as well. Well, and the last one I'm going to mention in the lightweight chair category is the Helinox Chair One. It comes in right around $99. It's about 2 pounds in weight, and it has up to a 320 pound weight capacity. So it's pretty durably built. A lot of people like these too, just because it's in the lighter weight category, right at 2 pounds. It has that really high weight capacity, so it's built to be pretty sturdy. And even at the $99 price point, you can find that on sale from time to time. If you can pick that up in the $70 to $80 range, it might be a great option for you. All right, before we move on, if you've found this at all valuable, would you please give the video a thumbs up? It really does help the video be found by more people that are looking for this kind of content. Overall, just makes it more accessible. And while you're at it, we've been talking about some Philmont topics today. There's lots of other videos on my channel about Philmont, about backpacking, general tips and tricks, things that just help make your backpacking outdoor experiences, more enjoyable, more comfortable in the long run. So if that's something that you want to dig through a little bit, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit that bell, and that way you'll be notified every time I post new content. And there's a lot of new content coming. So let's wrap this up. All right, we're on to the final category, the ultralight chairs. Now, this is a premium category. You're going to see some price points that we haven't yet seen yet, and that's probably because you're getting into, super lightweights, premium materials, things like that. So you're gonna get a lot of the benefits that you see from the lightweight chair category, the comfort, the ease of use, just with lighter and lighter options. So the first one has been the dominator in the marketplace when it comes to backpacking ultralight chairs for a few years now, and for good reason. It's an extremely comfortable and extremely lightweight chair. That's the Helinox Chair Zero. Now, the weight comes in right at 17 ounces, so 1 pound 1 ounce for the Helinox Chair Zero. Extremely comfortable. All the same features that you're going to find on the Helinox Chair One, just in a slimmed down version. You get a weight rating of 265 pounds, so still fairly sturdy. It is a little bit more delicate, so if you push that weight rating and you're getting closer to that, I'd probably push it more to the Chair One, or even the Camp Boss. They're going to have much higher weight ratings in the 300 and 320 pound range. But 265 pound weight range for 1 pound 1 ounce, and they retail, the full price is $120. I've found that you can find these throughout the year on sale, well under $100. I've been able to find them a couple times under 80 bucks. And if you see that, jump at it. It doesn't stick around for very long, but if you can find it under 90 bucks, you're doing really well. So for a premium chair, super lightweight, 1 pound 1 ounce, for the comfort of sitting in a chair in and around camp. That's pretty awesome. Now, the second one is going to be a newer comer to, that marketplace, and is really kind of shaking things up. And that's the REI Flexlite Air. It is a direct competitor to the Helinox Chair Zero. A very comfortable chair. A lot of people rave about it since it's come out here just in the last year or so. And the big ticket was they shaved off a fraction of an ounce, so it comes in right at 1 pound. So for about $99 is the retail price. You can get a 1 pound chair that has a lot of the same features and comfort that you're gonna find in the Helinox Chair Zero. Now, it doesn't have quite as long of a track record, but it still has gotten great reviews. And a lot of people love that there's now this competition going on between these vendors. Can we get lighter and lighter and lighter? Can we bring down the cost even more? So those are two that I would look at in the ultralight category. If you're looking at bringing, compact, lightweight, and extremely comfortable chairs, there's now some out there that aren't gonna, kill your pack weight. They may break the bank a little bit, so you're gonna have to weigh that option. Is it something that you can fit into your budget for Philmont? So to sum up this discussion, I think it was always just easier to not bring anything to Philmont to sit on. But now with all the different options that are available on the marketplace, more and more people are considering it. I know with our Trek, way more people brought chairs than any other item. And I think there was maybe only one that didn't bring any kind of seating item. So it's becoming more and more common. And there's more and more options that are entering the marketplace that are making it cheaper and less of a weight penalty for all of us to bring some comfort items, some luxury items to a Trek like Philmont. Hopefully I've given you some information, some different ideas. You can do your research and figure out which one of these, if any, makes sense for you. So thanks so much for watching. Till next time, be well.